Hello everyone, this is Professor Patterns, and in this video, I'm going to be giving you a complete beginner's introductory guide on how you can set up your environment to use AI coding tools such as Cline to create beautiful websites without you writing a single line of code. There is a little bit of setup that's involved, so after you get done with it, you don't really need to write a single line of code after that. Here's an example of a website that I created. I don't know anything related to front-end or back-end development, but it's a job board website where I can filter on bootcamp-friendly jobs. I can swipe left or swipe right on different jobs. And again, I have no prior coding experience for anything related to front-end development. Now, by the end of this video, we'll be able to create this entire website from scratch without us writing a single line of code, I promise you. To do this, we'll first have to install VS Code. So now I'm going to open up my browser and type in VS Code. Here, I'm going to select this link and then download the one for Windows. If you have a Mac, you would just simply download the one for Mac. Once that's done, I'm going to select Install, accept the agreement, hit Next, Next, Next. None of this actually matters. Again, hit Next and Install. So pretty much just left all of the settings as default. Now here it said completed the Visual Studio setup, so I can launch the Visual Studio Code upon completion. So I'm going to hit Finish, and there we go. Visual Studio Code has now opened up. If you are on a Mac, all you would do is hit download and then download the one for Mac and whatever operating system that you're on. So now that we have Visual Studio open up here, there are a couple of things that we can do. For now, I'm going to simply delete everything else. I don't want to use Copilot or anything like that right now. So let me cancel out of everything. Now, on VS Code, we can open up a folder to a folder on our computer. So let's do that first. I'm going to select Open Folder. And then here, I'm going to go to my Documents. And let's create a folder. Let's call this folder something like My Project. So My-Project. I'm going to select that and then double click it. Once I do that, I can select Folder. Now here, I'm going to say, trust the authors of the file, and then I trust the authors because I am the author. Now, if I wanted to open up this folder, I can right click anywhere here, and then select Reveal in File Explorer. What that means is that any change that I make to this folder is also going to be reflected on VS Code, and vice versa. So as an example, if I create a new text file, and I can call this test. Let's open it up with Notepad, and I can type in something like, this is a test, hit Control S to save, cancel, and you can see that on VS Code, it shows up here as well. So if I click on this, you can see that this is a test. Let's exit out of this and delete this file from VS Code. So I'm going to click on it and then select Delete. Move to Recycle Bin. And if I look at my folder, this file does not exist on my folder anymore. So this is perfect because all of our development is going to happen on here. Now I want to install some extensions. The first one that I'll install is going to be Cline. So let's search for Cline. And then here, this is the one that I'm going to install. It's got 328,000 star ratings. So let's select Install. And also I'm going to leave all of the other settings as default. Once we do that, we are going to see that it's popped up right here. So this is Cline. This is our environment for which we will then be able to do all of our coding, all of our programming without us writing a single line of code. So now what we need to do is to also establish connection from VS Code to our GitHub account. So I don't have a GitHub account right now, so let's go ahead and create one. So first, let me go to github.com. And then here, I'm going to select Sign Up. Now, I need to sign up with an email, password, and username. So let me go ahead and enter that really quickly. And now I can sign in with my email or username and password. So let's go ahead and select Sign In. Now, I need to somehow connect my GitHub repository to VS Code. So let's go on here and select Source Control. If I select Initialize Repository, I can say Test and Publish Branch. Now it says the extension GitHub wants you to sign in using GitHub. So let's allow that. and that's going to take me to another page right here. So if I open this up on the browser that I was working out of, it says select user to authorize VS Code. So let's select continue. And then I'm going to authorize Visual Studio Code. And if I reopen VS Code, there we go. So I can publish to a GitHub public repository or a private one, doesn't matter. I'm going to select escape because I don't want to publish anything yet. It doesn't matter. If you did publish, it's fine as well. So now we should have a environment set up. And if I go on Cline, here you can see that it's not going to actually start giving, I'm not going to be able to put in anything yet because I need to provide it with some sort of an API key. So to get an API key, I'm going to go to openrouter.com. So here, let's open up OpenRouter. And then I'm going to select sign in. And let me sign in with an account that I'm already registered with. And there we go. Now, once you have signed into OpenRouter, what you would do is head over to the credits section, and then you can add some credits. So here's an example of some credits that I've added in. So if you would like, you can simply click add credits, put in your credit card details, and then add maybe $5 or something, and that should be fine. Then you would go over to keys, and then create a key. Now I'm going to call this key demo key setup. And I'm going to say I only want to use up to $1 for this key. So if it goes anything past that dollar, it's going to simply delete that key. So let's create this and then copy it. Now I'm going to go to VS Code and then paste this key that I just copied and then select let's go. Now, once that's done, let's close out of this update, click on settings, and then here we can see OpenRouter and the API key that we added. Now the model that I will select is Claude 3.5 Sonnet. So this is the one that I want. So once I hit done, I should be all set now. So for example, I can ask a question, something like, write me HTML, CSS, JavaScript code to create a simple website about selling t-shirts business. And you can see that it's going to call in the Claude 3.5 Sonnet model from OpenRouter. It's going to use that to create this website. And then once it gets to a point where it might seem stuck, the reason is because it wants to create a new file. So what I will do is I'm going to open up auto approve and then just allow auto approve for everything. Now you want to be really careful here with what you're auto approving. Maybe I'm not going to let it use the browser or MCP, and everything else should be okay. So I'm going to allow auto approve and select save. Let's exit out of here. And then we can see it created the first index.html file, and now it's working on styles.css. Now it looks like it's complete. It wants to go to the browser. I don't need it to go to the browser, so I'm going to go here and then open this in my file explorer. And then to actually see what this website looks like, let's select index or double click on index. And let me open this with Google Chrome. And there we go. It's a very simple quality t-shirts for everyone kind of store. We can add some stuff to the cart and we can see that it populates the cart. So let's just say this is our first iteration of this website. Let's go here. And first, let me make sure that Cline isn't doing anything else. Okay, there we go. Cline isn't. And right now, the total cost was 17 cents to run this. I'm going to give you a much cheaper alternative once we get done here. But so far, I think this is great. So I'm going to say this is my initial commit for the store. And then I'm going to select commit. There are no stage changes. And I'm going to select always for this. And here it says, make sure you configure your user.name and user.email in Git. So if you are using Git for the first time, this is something that's going to be very common. So don't worry about it. I'm going to select open Git log. Or if I wanted to, I could also open up my terminal window. Now, to add Git to VS Code, what I'm going to need to do is copy and paste two commands. The only thing that you need to make sure that this is going to be on terminal. So if it's not on terminal, you can always go back to these folders and then select open an integrated terminal. So in the integrated terminal, what you will do is first paste this command in, git config global user.name, and then your GitHub username. So my GitHub username is prof patterns. Here I'm going to select enter. The second command is git config user.email, and then here I'm going to put in the email that I used to sign up with. And once that's done, I should be pretty much set. So let's go back to source control and then hit commit. Now I can publish this, and let's just say this is my first commit. Let's publish this branch. Here it's asking me, do you want to publish this to a private or a public repository? Let's select public. So it's doing its thing here. And then this is the first time you will have to sign up if it's your first time working with GitHub, so that's completely normal. So let's sign in with our browser. And again, what I like to do is to use Chrome. So I'm just going to authorize this on Chrome, and then authorize Git ecosystem, and then authentication succeeded. So you may now close this tab. Let's go back here. And it says that it's successfully published to the GitHub repository. So let's open up GitHub. And this is what it looks like. Now, this website is not deployed yet. Only our code is out on GitHub. So how do we actually publish this website? Well, I'm going to go to settings. And then here I'm going to select pages. Now, on this pages link, I'm going to select branch and select the main branch, because by default, that's the main kind of operating branch that you would have. Now here, I'm going to select save. Now, once that's done, if I go back to my project, you can see that it is now going to start working on deploying this project. So if I refresh the page, and I can see that there's this yellow circle that says pending, that means that it's working on deploying our website to the world. So let's wait for it to do its thing. Usually it takes about 2 or 3 minutes, and I'm going to fast forward till it's done. So it looks like it's now done. So if I click on deployments, I can see GitHub pages right here. Let's click on that and then go to this website right here. And this takes us to our t-shirt store website. So all of our code is always committed. If I go to VSCode, you can see that I don't need to do anything else here. So let's cancel out of these 3 things that Cline automatically opened for us. And this was pretty much the last bit of code that you would have had to write. Because now suppose that you wanted to update this website, well, you can do that. The only issue is that I can see a situation where this is going to end up costing me quite a bit. So what else can I do? Well, I can switch my model provider from Claude 3.5 Sonnet to something else like DeepSeek. And to enable DeepSeek, I'm going to type in DeepSeek chat. That's the model that I will select. Now, currently, there is a promotional discount that's running for DeepSeek usage. However, after February of 2025, that promotion is going to stop, but it's still going to be a little bit cheaper than using Sonnet. You can see the cost for every one of these by going over here, and you can see what is the cost for writing per tokens. So cache write price over here, it's 0.14 for every 1 million tokens. Versus if we compare this to Anthropic Claude 3.5, and that's the 3.5 Sonnet, we can see that it's a lot more expensive, $3.75 per million tokens. So let's go and select the free or the cheaper version, which is the DeepSeek chat. So I still don't know what else I want, right? I know that this website exists, and I can open this in my file explorer, take a look at what it looks like. Let's say that I want to work on some aesthetic changes, right? So what I can do is go back on here and then say something like, can you improve the aesthetics of this website? It looks kind of bland. And can you also give me some demo t-shirts? Now, DeepSeek v3 works very similar to Claude. I would say it's almost the same in terms of the performance. Sometimes Claude does tend to overperform over DeepSeek, but generally it's about the same. So it looks like DeepSeek was able to make all of the different changes. So what I'm going to do is go here and then open up index.html again. So reveal in File Explorer, and click on index.html. Now, if you take a look, we can refresh this page, and this is what it looks like. If you, for example, don't like all of these changes, you can go to source control, and suppose you want to undo all of those changes. Well, what you can do is go here and then select discard changes. That's going to undo every single thing that DeepSeek had done. Now, suppose that I like the current state of what this website looks like. I'm going to say commit this changes. So let me just add this or stage the changes. So I don't need to commit this to the branch yet. I like the current state of where it's at, but let's see what else we could do. Suppose that I want to add in some t-shirts. How do we do that? So I'm going to go here and I'm going to say, how do I add in my own t-shirts as images? And you can see that in terms of the API cost, it's significantly lower. Right now, it's only used 1 cent to make all of these different changes. If this was something like Claude, we would have already been up to maybe 10 cents. So here it says to add custom images, we need to create a directory to store the t-shirt images and then add the images to this directory. So let's go ahead and do this. So it says the directory has been created, and I'm going to go in here and see that t-shirt images does exist. So let's just go and find 3 random t-shirts that we can add on here. So I just went on the internet and I found 3 random t-shirts. So t-shirt 1, t-shirt 2, and t-shirt 3. So all 3 of these have been added in. Let's go back to Cline. So let's see if it's able to detect these t-shirts and then also make the appropriate change on the website. So it looks like it was able to make all of these different changes. Now, right now, the website doesn't look too great. So if I wanted to, for example, add this image, what I can do is take a screenshot of this website. And then the only thing is that on DeepSeek, you can't really add screenshots, but for Claude, you can. So let's go back to VSCode and change our model provider from DeepSeek back to Claude Sonnet. Now here, let's select done. And I'm going to go back to Cline. And then I'm just simply going to say, this website does not look good aesthetically. Can you make it even better? Now notice that all of these changes that we're making is just locally, right? They're not actually being updated on our actual t-shirt store website. So at any point, if you ever wanted to go and see what that t-shirt store website is looking like, what you can do is go back to your GitHub account, click on your profile, and then your project. And then here, if you select GitHub Pages and click on your website, you can see that this is the current state of the project for everyone around the world. So we aren't actually deploying these changes. We'll only deploy these changes once we hit that commit button. So I sent this over to Cline, and I'm making Cline sort of work on updating this with all of these different changes. So it looks like Cline is now complete with making all of these different changes. So let's go back here and then reveal this in File Explorer, and again, take a look at index. So now we can see what the website looks like, and we can see that it's significantly better than what it was before. So if I refresh this page, okay, that's great. And let's see if the add to cart functionality works. So if I select add to cart, it says added. However, if I select cart, it says you have 1 item in your cart, but I can't really do anything else. I think that's fine for now. Something else that I also noticed was these t-shirts, if you kind of zoom out, one of them is pretty large, one of them is a different size, and another one is a different size. So again, what I can do is take a screenshot, and something that's going to be really important is you want to create a new task for everything new that you're going to do. So you don't want to just keep continuing this, because what it does is that it takes all of the messages from the past and it keeps adding on to it, and it's going to get really expensive. So if you want to do something new, just create a new task for it. If you like the state of the website at this point, so right now I feel like the website is in a pretty decent state. What I'm going to do is I'm going to simply commit or stage all of my different changes. So hit stage all changes, and then I'm going to hit a commit. So I'm going to say something like made some aesthetic improvements. So now if I hit commit, It's going to sync all of these changes with my GitHub repository, and the website that's available to every single person in the world is also going to get updated. So that's great. Just let it do its thing there. For now, I wanted to have some aesthetic improvements. So what I wanted to do was change up or fix up all of these icons. So let's do that as the next task. Let's go back here to Cline, and then I'm going to say the icons and images for the t-shirts look off, make them all look the same-ish. So now it looks like it made the change. This is what it's currently at on GitHub, right? This is what's currently deployed to the entire world. And this is the new updated change that Cline made for me. So we can see that all of the icons are now about the same. So it fixed that problem. That's great. So what I'm going to do is go back here on source control. And because I'm happy with this, I'm going to simply commit this to my actual website. So here I'm going to say made changes to icons and looks great now. Commit this and sync my changes, and everything is going to be great. So now it's going to deploy all these changes to my actual website. Let's try one more thing. Maybe because I'm adding everything to the cart, it's actually not doing anything after I add it to the cart. So let's see if Cline can fix that for me as well. Let's go back to Cline, and I'm going to say, again, create a new task. And here I'm going to say, after I add a t-shirt to the cart, it does not do anything. It updates the cart, but after that, I also want the user to be able to see all the items in the cart. And then I don't want to add in the checkout functionality yet. For now, you always want to take it one step at a time. So the first step is, let's just take everything to the cart. And then after it creates the final checkout cart, then we can work on the user payments and all of those different things. So let's have it make all of these updates here, and then let's take a look at that. Looks like it was able to make all of those changes. So let's go back here to this website, refresh the page. And now I'm going to add this classic black t-shirt and the premium gray t-shirt to the cart. Once I do that, I can click on this cart, and there we go. We see both of these t-shirts, and we also have the option to check out. Let's see if we remove the premium gray t-shirt. Does that change anything? Yep, it does. So that's perfect. So all of this is working fine. Obviously, proceed to checkout. We haven't really made anything here. So obviously, if you click this, it's not really going to do anything. But I'm happy again with the current state. So if you're happy, all you would do is go back here and then save all of your changes, right? We want to push these changes to our website. So again, I'm going to say added the ability to also check out. And you can see that when you look at your source control branch, you can see step by step all of the different changes that you're making, right? Sometimes you want to revert back to an earlier state. Well, you can do that. Suppose that you want to take a completely tangential direction and just work on a major update to the aesthetics. Well, you can just simply create a new branch and then work on that. For now, let's just commit everything to master. Obviously, it's not, or main, it's not the most ideal way of doing things, but it works for now. Let's commit this and sync the changes. So right now, this is going to be the current state of our website. We can refresh this page. We can add stuff to our cart. And if you look at our cart, we can also check out. Now let's see if we can also help us with the ability to check out. So let's go back to Cline. And I'm going to say, help me create a checkout for the t-shirts. After the user checks out, right now it does nothing. I want them to be able to put in their information, and then the t-shirts get delivered to them. So this is going to be a much bigger task. So let's see how Cline is going to be able to handle this request. Looks like it is done now. It took about 20 cents to do this. So this one was an expensive task. But if I go in here, I can add something, go to my checkout, and if I click proceed to checkout, here it gives me a form where I can type in my full name, email, shipping address, phone number, and then some credit card details. Now, obviously, if I wanted to integrate this with something like auto payments or something, I could do Stripe or some sort of thing. But for now, I'm going to leave this form out because I don't actually want people from this YouTube to go and buy these t-shirts. So everything is great. However, because it made all of these changes right now, I don't want this to actually reflect on the website. So I'm just simply going to stage these commits, but I'm not actually going to commit this. Now, suppose that you want to make a little bit more aesthetic changes, right? So right now, this is the state of our website, but maybe we wanted it to look like some other website, maybe something that was like Banana Republic or something. So what you would do is go to a website that you like, so a website like this, and then you can simply take a screenshot of this. And then on Cline, again, you can create a new task and just say something like, I'd like my website aesthetic to look similar to this one. Can you make the desired changes? And then paste the image, and let's see how well this can actually create this site. So it looks like it is done now. And just for a little bit of a comparison, this is the Banana Republic website that I asked it to take a look at. And this is the website that it created for me. So, and you can see that this is only running locally on my computer. So I can change this from Banana Republic to just the name of my company. But all of these are, okay, it doesn't have the characteristics of changing the colors of the shirts, but it looks exactly like the Banana Republic website. So that's pretty crazy how he was able to do that. So right now I'm happy with the current state of what this website is. The only thing that I need to do is remove this top banner, remove anything related to Banana Republic, all of those things, and change this name from Banana Republic just to another t-shirt company name. So again, I'm going to copy this. And what I could do is just put it on Paint. So let's open up Paint. And here I'm going to paste it and then create a red box around all of the stuff that I want deleted. So delete this top banner. I want to delete this banner and might as well delete all of this stuff here as well. So let's copy that, go back to Cline, and then here again, create a new task. From this website, delete all the stuff that I have highlighted in red. Also, the name of the store is Prof Patterns Merch. So let's see if it's now going to be able to make this change for us. All right, so it looks like it is now done. So let's take a look at the website, and there we go. Removed all of the mentions of Banana Republic. I think this website currently looks really nice. And I did remove all the functionalities of adding things to cart. So now I can actually commit this to my GitHub repository. So let's do that. I like the current state of the entire code base. So stage all of the changes with all of the updates. And then I'm going to say final commit before I work on it some more tomorrow. So let's hit this commit, sync the changes with the branch, and there we go. So I know that we did go a little bit longer, but I actually wanted to show you what is the most ideal sort of process to take. And we can see that all of this code that we created, it's all in our local repository, right? So in our local computer. So if you ever want to take a look at the code, we could do that. So this is written almost 200 lines of code in this, in the JavaScript file, almost 250 lines of code. And in the CSS, we have almost close to 600 lines of code. So pretty good job, I would say, just for 20 minutes of working with. And if you take a look, I would say the website doesn't look too shabby. So that's pretty much it for this video. If you actually stayed up all the way until the end, I really appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. And if you want me to cover something similar or maybe create a different type of website or anything like that, feel free to post a comment in the comment section below. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.